So when it came to sickle cell, it was just me overcoming that pain, because I had a lot of pain growing up, and I always would fight through it. You know, there was times where I was in excruciating pain where it was like, I just want to give up.
Yeah.
And every time I thought that, my mom would just let me know, you got people that depend on you, you have people that supporting you, you have people that believe in you.
Yeah.
So if you give up, you're gonna be disappointing them.
How's it going, guys? And welcome to another episode of Secrets to Silent Success. Today we have the one and only Tafari, the real estate matchmaker. How you doing this morning, sir?
Man, I'm phenomenal. I can't complain, man. You know.
Good. So we'll start there, right? You're known as the real estate matchmaker. Where did that name come from? Tell me about the branding you built around yourself.
Man, to be honest, one day I was just sitting down thinking about how I wanted my real estate career to go and the feeling that I wanted my clients to have. So, you know, I was sitting back thinking like, you know, when I'm helping someone get into real estate, what do I want them to feel? How do I want to be advertised or branded? And one day I said, you know, when I find that perfect match for them, I want them to fall in love, like Cupid shot them in the butt with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
So I was like, the real estate matchmaker, that would be pretty dope. So I reached out to a few of my friends because I was super excited about it. Like, hey, I think I'm gonna brand myself as the real estate matchmaker. A few of them was like, no, that's corny. I don't really get it. I don't think that really fits with real estate. And I was like, I like it. I think it's dope. So I stuck with it, and I just kept putting it out there. The real estate matchmaker, the real estate matchmaker. Yeah. Let me find your perfect match when it comes to real estate, whether it's apartment, home, a home for lease, for rent, to sell. I want to be able to match you to your perfect situation. So that's kind of how it came about.
Got you. What makes you, the real estate matchmaker, different from, you know, other agents and other competitors in the market?
Man, I just feel like I go above and beyond. You know, a lot of real estate agents get into real estate solely for the money.
Sure.
I got into real estate because I enjoy helping people get to the next level. And I feel like real estate was the way to bridge the gap to, you know, being an entrepreneur and helping people overcome certain obstacles. Many people don't know about home ownership. A lot of people don't know how to go find their own apartments. So I said, you know what, let me learn the knowledge so I can be able to provide it to the people that's looking for a home, apartment, a commercial space, or anything. So I feel like I go above and beyond and do anything possible to find the perfect match for my clients.
Gotcha. So you mentioned two things. You mentioned real estate and entrepreneurship, right? So I know you graduated from TCU, and then you talked about you've always kind of been interested in real estate and entrepreneurship, even at a young age. Where did that interest come from?
Well, to be honest, I didn't know exactly that I wanted to do real estate.
Okay.
I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I grew up playing basketball since I was 3. Mm-hmm. That was the number one goal, to make it to the NBA. At that time, my favorite player was Allen Iverson. Okay. So I rocked the number 3.
Yep.
I had every goal of making it to the NBA, but you know, not everybody's gonna make it.
Sure.
So while watching TV, I saw a lot of entrepreneurs or businessmen per se, and I was like, it's pretty dope. Everybody wants to look up to them or be around those people. And I said, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And growing up, I never had a job. My parents would allow me to work while in school, so I never had the 9 to 5 mindset. It was always, let me go get it on my own. So when it came to real estate, one of my family friends that I played basketball with, his parents was in the real estate field. Okay. And I can see that they was always more financially stable than everyone else. So I was like, you know, let me go get my real estate license when I was in college. Yeah. As soon as I passed my test, I thought I was gonna be rolling in money, but reality struck for sure.
Yeah. So you talked about, you know, getting a real estate license when you're in college. You're 20, 21 years old and became a real estate agent. It was discouraging at first, right? You talk about most real estate agents, you think of them being older, bigger networks, more established. People are coming to you to make the biggest financial decision of their lives, probably, right? To buy a home. How did you overcome some of that discouragement or some of those challenges early on being a young agent?
Man, let me tell y'all now, real estate is not as easy as it looks on social media or Netflix. It's not always selling sunsets when you're doing real estate. But yeah, I got my license when I was 21. Super excited, thinking I'm about to be rolling in money. My first interaction with a client was like, hey, you know, I'm a real estate agent, would love to assist you. And they was like, how old are you? Yeah. How many homes have you sold? How long have you been doing real estate? So all those questions was coming at me, and I knew at that time that I didn't have any experience. I haven't sold any homes. I'm only 21 years old, and I'm speaking to someone that's 40, 45 years old.
Wow.
So I kind of froze.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I don't have the experience I need. I just passed a test. I don't really know too much about real estate, but what was on the test.
Sure.
So at those times, it was extremely discouraging because every time I spoke to someone, the same questions kept on coming up.
Yeah.
How old are you? How many homes have you sold? How are you going to help me get into real estate? If you don't know anything about real estate, you just got your license. So at that time, I was very discouraging because I was a college student only making about $8, $9, $10 an hour.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that as a real estate agent, you have real estate fees.
Yep.
Depending on what brokerage you are in, you have office fees, you have real estate fees that pays for all the platforms that you're using, such as the MLS. So I have $100 a month coming out of my account. Then there's another big one that happens, maybe every 3 months. That's like $400. The first time that hit me, I was like, yeah, real estate might not be for me because I don't have that much money just to be throwing out if I'm not making any money back.
Sure.
And even with family and friends, I reach out to some family and friends like, look, I have my real estate license now. Let me help you find an apartment. Let me help you buy your home. Let me help you sell your home. But even the people that know you the most, it's a little skeptical with working with you because they know you as not that entrepreneur, but they knew you as the young man that they grew up with.
Sure.
So even that was a challenge.
Yep.
So it's tough.
Well, let me ask you this, because you named all the challenges. So you saw it as something to be overcame, right? You saw it as an obstacle that you could overcome. Tell me, how did you overcome those obstacles?
Man, I think a lot of times when you're so hungry and eager that you forget and neglect all the hardships that you had to overcome before. So one day when I was in my dorm room, I just had a coming to Jesus moment, if you should say. I looked in the mirror and said, man, why do I want to do real estate? No one wants to work with me. Would I ever be successful in real estate? And it was like, all these negative comments that I'm getting shows me that I probably shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should just focus on being a student, get my degree, and see if I can go get me a corporate position. Yep. But I reflected on my life. It's always been tough. I've always had hardships I had to overcome, and I changed my mindset from I shouldn't be doing this to I can overcome this just like I overcame everything else. Yeah. So from that point on, I started going to the office more. I started reaching out to other agents that's been in the field longer. It was like, what do I need to be doing to get my first deal? What do I need to do to overcome these objections that people are giving me? Yep. So I start script practicing. I start role playing. I start talking to my mom on the phone like, hey, just act like you're a buyer. And these are the things that I'm going to say. She had a great time with it because, she watched all these HGTV shows. She was saying all these things, and I was finding ways of how I can respond to her and seeing like I'm still a professional doing it. So. Got
you. Now, you talked about you've had many obstacles to overcome in life. One of those being you were born with sickle cell, right?
For sure.
And in a quote, you said, hey, you didn't see it as a disability, but you saw it as an ability to go out there and encourage and help others. Yeah. Tell me again, where does that mindset come from to not be discouraged?
Man, honestly, it's just my upbringing. My parents did a great job of always instilling in me like confidence and the ability to overcome anything. Anytime that I was down, my parents would always encourage me like, hey, you can always get back up and be successful. So when it came to sickle cell, I feel like I was one of the fortunate ones and extremely blessed with my sickle cell because I don't feel like I have pain as much as the other people that have sickle cell. Sure. There's different types. So there's SS and SC. I have SC, which is not as severe as SS. Okay. But I do know some people that have SC that's, in the hospital a lot, that's having sickle cell crisis, which is the pain that we encounter whenever we have an episode. So man, it was just me overcoming that pain because I had a lot of pain growing up and I always would fight through it. There was times where I was in excruciating pain where it was like, I just want to give up. Yeah. And every time I thought that, my mom would just let me know, you got people that depend on you. You have people that's supporting you. You have people that believe in you. Yeah. So if you give up, you're going to be disappointing them. So I feel like that right there, that weight that she put on my shoulders of like knowing that there's so many people out there that's depending on me to be successful or to overcome these obstacles, I've always had that chip on my shoulder that's like, I can't give up, because if I give up, the people that's dependent on me or that's supporting me is going to be disappointed. So one of the main things that throughout elementary, middle school, high school, I always worked my hardest so I wouldn't disappoint the people that were surrounding me.
Yeah.
And at some point, I got to a position where I've reached a certain level of success that everyone wanted me to reach. Now I have to do it for myself. And that was a different challenge, because when you're trying to get the approval or not disappoint others, it seems a little bit easier to do, because a lot of times we don't discipline ourselves enough where it's like, hey, I'm disappointed in you for making that decision.
Sure.
So I had to be a lot harder on myself when I stopped focusing on not disappointing others instead of disappointing myself. So that was one of the main obstacles as well, was once I started doing it for myself, I feel like I just started going harder and harder and harder. It was like I was in a competition with myself.
Yeah.
Okay, I did 10 push-ups yesterday. I need to be able to do 11 today. If I don't, at least I need to do 10. But if I do 9, I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would ask you, because that's a very interesting insight on that mindset shift from, hey, I'm going out there and I have the drive for others, but now, hey, I'm going out there and I'm doing it for myself, right? What drives you? Like, what is the internal fuel that says, hey, I'm gonna get up and go harder each day for myself?
And I feel like I still have a lot of room to grow. You know, I feel like I don't go as hard as I need to. Sometimes I wake up and say, I could have did more yesterday, or I need to be doing more today. Because sometimes you get complacent. One of my favorite quotes is, satisfactory leads to failure. So I play that in my head. It's like, as soon as you start getting satisfied, you're just complacent. You know what I mean? You're not getting any better because you're not putting in the effort or the work. So
one of my favorite quotes is from Terry Crews, the actor. He said, "Be happy but dissatisfied."
Okay.
Right? Because you can come from a place of positivity, right? You can be grateful for what you got and still want more.
Most definitely.
So my question was, what drives you, right? You were doing it at first for the approval and to make others proud, but now you say, hey, I'm doing it for myself. But what are you doing it for?
So even though that I'm doing it for myself, I feel like the bigger why is my family.
Okay.
It's because I know that I couldn't be here without their support and love. So now it's like I want to be able to pay it forward. I want to be able to pay it back. So when I wake up and thinking about the amount of success that I can reach, it's not simply only for myself. I want to be able to retire my mom, retire my dad. I want to be able to give my brother whatever he wants, because they was there for me. You know, through all those hard times of me having sickle cell crisis, being in the hospital, me being a basketball player, me being injured, they was those warm, lovely voices that was in my ear encouraging me to keep going. So my bigger why is my family. You know, a lot of times people want to be successful for themselves. A lot of times I think about my success of how I can give it back to my family, my friends, and all the loved ones that supported me. So that's my why.
Got you. So 2022, you had a big 2022. You're talking about 20 transactions, 4.6 million, right? You talked about not being complacent, but how does it feel to reach that level of success, and what's going on in your head? How does that make you feel?
You know, one of my old counselors at TCU told me that I need to start celebrating the smaller wins. And that was one thing that I challenged myself, that I struggled with. I struggled with because, you know, you set goals. Once you accomplish it, you've already had another goal set. So that goal that you accomplished don't really seem big anymore. So the year prior, I only did 1.9 in production. So I said, you know what? I didn't even reach multi-million-dollar producer. I want to be a multi-million-dollar producer in 2022. Now I hit it, and it's like, oh man, I didn't do 10 million. I didn't do 20 million. Like, that's my new goal. But it's like, if you sit back and think about what I did in 2021, 2022 was amazing. For it to be my second year full time, I've had my license for 4 years, but the first 2 years was part time. I was a full-time student at TCU, didn't have much time to be a real estate agent. And then when I graduated, I had a full-time insurance job where I was trying to make some money while still trying to build my real estate business, which is extremely difficult, but it's possible. So I would advise a lot of people, if you get into real estate, don't just quit your 9 to 5, because you're gonna need some income coming in if you're not closing deals as soon as possible, because real estate is 100% commission. If you don't close deals, you don't make any money.
Yep.
So I'll say that I'm privileged how early I started because I don't have any major bills. I don't have a family to feed. I mean, I can support my mother, but it's not like I have any children or any major bills that I have to pay for, where it's like if I didn't close a deal, I'll be starving the next day. I had that safety net, if you'll say. Not everybody has that luxury. Some people get into real estate because they lost their job. You know, they have kids that they have to support. So now if they don't make this commission check, it's like now I'm eating into my savings. Now I'm getting scared. Now I'm worried about, you know, how am I going to survive so long without making that next commission check? So I would say starting early when you don't have many responsibilities is good, but still have that support of a job while building your real estate business, because that job can also be your sphere of influence. You can, you know, be working there, doing what you need to do there, but still making those connections there. Like, hey, you know, if you need an apartment, you need a house, I can assist you. Until you get to a point in your business where you don't really need that 9-to-5 anymore, then you go full real estate.
Gotcha. Let's talk a little bit about time management, because you talked about, hey, getting your real estate license while a full-time student. Then you talking about even after you graduated, you're doing your real estate, but that's almost like your side hustle at first. You're still working a 9-to-5 insurance job. How do you manage that? How do you manage the 9-to-5 and what I would call the 5-to-9, which was still in the real estate?
It was difficult. I mean, when you want to be successful, you have to sacrifice a lot of fun, sometimes with friends and family. A lot of people think that you're being funny because you're always working or you're not reaching out to them or making it to certain events. I got to a point where work was the only thing that I was focused on. I wanted to be so successful that it kind of drained me for a little bit, because I was going from school to internship to trying to do real estate. But you know, in reality, I was thinking that with me having a 9-to-5, most people have a 9-to-5 anyway, so I wouldn't be showing homes between that time anyway. So I was like, when people get off work at 5, I'll be getting off work as well. So if anybody wanted to look at homes, I'll be getting off work, you be getting off work, and we can head to home at the same time. It don't always work that way. You know, you have the entrepreneurs, you have the people that don't work a 9-to-5s, the people that work from 12 to 9 or something like that. So it's like that clientele that needs your help while you're at work, you can lose a client if you're not available. So I would say it's kind of a sticky situation of saying, oh, work that 9-to-5 while building your real estate business, or just going full real estate as soon as you should. It's kind of difficult to say. I feel like based off your situation is the game plan that you should use. Me personally, I would stick with a 9-to-5 first and build that real estate business, especially starting so young, because you don't have too many people that's buying homes that's 18, 19, 20 years old. Maybe they're getting apartments, but when I first started, I didn't know about apartment locating. I didn't learn about that till a year later. So that was a whole year of apartment locating checks that I missed out on because I wasn't aware of it. Because I was around agents that was a lot more tenured and successful in the business. They wasn't doing apartment locating. It took me to get around another younger agent that was like, yeah, you didn't know you could help people get apartments? So it's like, no, you know, so yeah.
Got you. Switching gears a little bit from the real estate to your content. So, hey, 10,000 plus followers on Instagram. TikTok is popping like crazy, right? Tell me a little bit, I guess 2 things. How have you been able to have that amount of influence and social capital when it comes to social media? And then you've also had deals with some pretty big brands. How were you able to contract those deals when it comes to content creation?
Man, to be honest, before social media was just a place that I like to post dope pictures, throw on an outfit, let the world see what outfit I had on. It wasn't until one day, one of my counselors from my sickle cell camp, Jonathan Jones, he was actually on your podcast, he reached out to me and said, man, you should be a social media influencer. And I was like, what is that? What's a social media influencer? You know, he kind of gave me a spiel a little bit what it was, but you know, I was like, no way people's getting paid for posting on Instagram. I start every night, social media influencer videos on YouTube. And I'm sitting there in disbelief, like, oh my God, they made this much money from making this post. That's the exact same post I made. You know what I mean? And it's like, they got paid for it. So I kind of switched how I looked at social media. It was for fun at first, and then I turned it into a business. So I started reaching out to these companies. I started reaching out to the companies that I was already buying stuff from, such as Express, Zara, H&M. I reached out to all those people because I was already shopping there. Just let them know, hey, I'm a social media influencer in the DFW area. I already wear your clothing. I would love to be able to partner or collaborate with you to show how amazing your clothing is to my followers.
Yep.
Got a lot of no's.
Yeah.
No. I mean, no. And it was, once again, discouraging. It's they make it seem so easy. But, on the outside looking in, everything always looks easy.
Sure.
If you look at LeBron James, Steph Curry, they make you think that you can be a professional basketball player just from watching them. But it's not as easy. People don't realize how much time and hour and blood, sweat, and tears, per se, that you put in behind the scenes before they see that you're an overnight success.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it took a while for me to get my first partnership, and it fell into my lap. Every company that I reached out to said no. One day I got a random message from a company, members only. Okay. They reached out to me and said, hey, Tafari, we love your page. We would love to collaborate with you. And I was shocked. They was like, what are your rates?
Rates.
Rates. I don't know. I didn't know if I wanted to say a price that was high. I didn't want to say anything that was too low. So I was like, what's your rates? Like, what are you willing to pay me?
Yeah.
So they was like, okay, well, we'll give you these amount of clothes. You can pick it from our website free of charge. And, that'll be that's how you get paid. To me, cool. Yeah. Free clothes, cool. Now I have something on my resume to use as leverage to another company. Sure. It was like, hey, I've already worked with members only. Let me work with you. Yeah. So at first, it was just a lot of companies giving me free items, free clothes, a gift card to buy clothes. And sometimes the gift cards weren't even enough to buy the clothes, so I had to come out of pocket to buy it. But before I even got to that, I had to start building my page up with the clothes that I already had from Express and all these different places. Yep. What I did now was, when I made those posts, I made sure to tag them.
There you go.
I tagged them. I used their hashtags. And then anybody else that was within those same hashtags, I go like and comment on their pages. So when it came to growing my page and having more people look at my page, it was because I was supporting and viewing other people's pages.
Gotcha. It makes sense. So you've had success, real estate, success over here as a content creator. The name of the podcast is Secrets to Silent Success. So I would ask you, Tafari, what is your secret to success?
I would say consistency and the fear of not failing. Being gritful, having grit, knowing that you're gonna fall, but being able to get back up. So, like I said, I've always had to overcome hardships. I've always had to overcome an objection, overcome a no. And that's the reality of life. Yeah. A lot of times people are not willing to invest or believe in you when you haven't started something or if you're not already in a success. Yeah. So right there, you just have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, how is anyone else going to believe in you? So what I tell myself is, if I work hard, if I stay consistent and I keep doing what's needed, that gig, that client, that partnership, that collaboration will come. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it's gonna come. Yeah. Like I said, with the members only, it fell into my lap at a time that I just didn't know. It just came out of nowhere. My first real estate deal was actually a student from TCU. Wow. It was right before spring break. Spring break's in March. I'm planning like, what am I gonna do for spring break? Am I going to Miami? Am I going to Cancun? What am I gonna do? I'm not just going back home. One of my friends, we was friends because we saw each other at the gym, played basketball. Yeah. He was actually a swimmer at TCU. He came to me like, hey, Tafari, I see you be posting real estate stuff. You think you can help me get home? I said, yeah. He said, so what are you doing during spring break? I said, it seems like I'm showing you homes. Yeah, all plans are canceled because at that time I'm hungry and eager to close a deal because I haven't closed one yet. Yeah. So like that was random. He just randomly hit me up one day. It was like, yeah, my parents are thinking about buying me a home. Okay, well, I'm gonna help your parents help you get that home.
There you go.
So that was super exciting. It was random, but that's the beauty of working hard and being consistent, because you never know when that diamond in the rough is gonna show up. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's it. Cool. Well, we'll leave it there, brother. I appreciate it. It was a good time talking to you, man.
For sure, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. So I appreciate you all for watching this episode of Secrets of Silent Success. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.